Hey there, I'm Steve, co-founder of the most powerful English for construction engineers program in the world. And welcome to Build and Speak podcasts. So, have you ever sat down to study English, only to find your mind wandering after a few minutes? You're not alone. In today's world of smartphones, social media, and constant notifications, maintaining focus, the ability to concentrate on one task, is a real challenge. Psychologists have found our attention span has shrunk dramatically. It used to be about 2.5 minutes before smartphones, but now it's only around 47 seconds. Nearly half of adults report feeling their focus is worse than it used to be. That means we may drift away from starting long before we finish even a short task. Many of us have felt like the person above, overwhelmed by information and struggling to concentrate. When you feel that tug of distraction, it can be discouraging, but recognizing the problem is the first step to fixing it. The attention crisis in the digital age. Research backs this up. Dr. Gloria Mark of UC Irvine found that before smartphones around 2004, people could focus on one task for about 2.5 minutes on average. Today, that number is just under 50 seconds. In other words, most of us switch away from a task far sooner than we realize. It's not just our devices, it's also our habits. We've trained our brains to expect constant stimulation. So, even when nothing pings us, we often distract ourselves. Mark describes that people now have a habit of self-interruptions. We check our emails, news, or social media even when there's no external alarm. Unfortunately, multitasking doesn't solve the problem. It makes it worse. When we think we are multitasking, we realize just switching rapidly between tasks. Each switch adds a metal overhead, so it actually takes us longer to get things done than if we handled tasks one by one. For example, if you pause your English reading to check a text message, coming back to that text usually takes a few extra moments to refocus. Studies suggest it can take about 25 minutes to fully resume focus after an interruption. This is why minimizing switches and sticking to one task at a time is so important for learning. How your brain and habits affect focus. Our brains have other tricks too. There's a system called the Reticular Activating System, or RAS. Think of it as your brain's filter for what it notices. If you repeatedly tell yourself, I can't concentrate, your brain starts looking for evidence to confirm that. Like noticing the tiniest distraction. But if you train your mind to focus on progress, saying, I am improving every day, your brain will notice your small wins instead. That's why positive self-talk and gratitude matter. For example, at the end of your study section, know something you learned or did well. This trains your brain to look for success. Motivation also helps. Dopamine, a brain chemical, boosts our focus on rewards. When dopamine is high, say because we anticipate something exciting or achieve a goal, we zero in on that task. The internet often gives us small dopamine hits, a quick like or notification. So our brains crave that ping, and get restless without it. To counteract this, build small rewards into your study. For example, after mastering a new vocabulary list, treat yourself to a 5-minute break with your favorite song or whatever. These little rewards will raise dopamine and make focus feel more satisfying. Mindset matters. Build a focus-friendly attitude. Before diving into techniques, let's set the right mindset. Focus is a skill, and we can improve it with practice. Adopt a growth mindset for your concentration. Believe that I can get better at focusing rather than I'm just bad at this. This simple switch can boost your motivation. Use positive affirmations. Phrase things in the present tense. For example, I am focusing on learning English instead of I can't focus. And start or end each section by noting something good. Even saying, today I learned 5 new words, keeps your brain tuned to progress, not problems. This positivity actually releases dopamine and gives you an extra focus boost. Set up your study space. This image shows an ideal study environment, calm and dedicated. Notice the neat desk, open notebook and laptop. The space is clearly for learning, not playing games or checking social media. Having a spot like this can prime your brain for study. In your own space, try to keep only learning materials within reach. Textbooks, notebooks, pens, whatever. And remove distractions like your phone or unrelated items. Having a study corner signals your brain that it's time to focus. Now, let's make your environment work for you. Choose a dedicated study area. Maybe a quiet corner of your room or a spot in a library. The space should be free or unrelated clutter or noise. Research even suggests room color can affect attention. Rooms with cool blues or greens saw better focus and memory performance than plain or warm-colored rooms. If you can, add a splash or calming color, a green plant, blue wall art, or soft-colored lamp to your study area. And avoid bright white or overly warm tones, which studies found can actually strain your eyes. Good lighting and comfort are key too. Aim for a well-lit space. Natural daylight is ideal. Keep the room at a comfortable temperature, about 60 to 55 F or 16 to 24 C. Because being too hot or too cold distracts you. Wear comfortable clothing and sit in a supportive chair if possible. Comfort helps prevent thinking about physical discomfort unless you concentrate on your lesson. You may even try focusing on music or beats. There's a technique using binaural beats. Play 2 slightly different tones in each ear so your brain hears a single pulsing beat. Listen to alpha frequency binaural beats. Around 8 to 13 Hz had been shown to improve attention. In simpler terms, a gentle, beat-driven background sound can help lock in your focus. You can find free binaural beat tracks or ambient focus music on YouTube. Make sure the volume isn't distracting and the track is instrumental or soft so it doesn't compete with your thoughts. Time management and body clock. We all have better focus at certain times of day. On average, Puberty learner speaks. One mid-morning around 10 a.m. and another mid-afternoon about 2 to 3 p.m. Notice your own pattern. Are you sharper in the morning or the evening? If you're a morning person, use that fresh energy for your toughest tasks like learning new grammar rules, intensive reading, etc. If you are an evening person, maybe schedule listening or speaking practice later when you're most alert. You can even take a short online quiz on morningness versus eveningness to discover your chronotype and plan accordingly. How long should you work before a break? It depends on the task and your energy. Gloria Mark found people naturally work in roughly 10.5 minute bursts on one project before drifting. If we get interrupted or shift attention, it can take about 25 minutes to fully return to the original task. Now, a practical takeaway is to use a timer. Try the Pomodoro technique. 25 minutes of focused study, then take a 5-minute break. After a few cycles, take a longer break, 15 to 30 minutes. These breaks prevent burnout and help you recharge so you can focus better when you return. And don't underestimate sleep. Quality sleep resets your brain's attention span. In fact, the best way to lengthen your focus is simply to start the day after a good night's sleep. Aim for 7 to 9 hours and try to sleep at regular times. A well-rested brain is far more capable of concentration than a tired one. Even a short nap, 10 to 20 minutes, can boost alertness if you're dragging in the afternoon. Single tasking and building habits. One big realization. Single tasking beats multitasking every time. Focus on one steady activity at a time. For example, if you are listening to an English podcast like this, just listen. Don't text or check email simultaneously. As Erin and Evan noted, focusing on one thing at a time makes the task easier and more enjoyable. It's like cooking. If you not only stir the soup without juggling your phone, you won't burn it. And the process feels calmer and more satisfying. When you're fully engaged in the task at hand, you do it better and often enjoy it more. Plan your study section around your top priorities. Each morning, ask, what are the 3 most important things I need to do today? Yeah, just three things. Erin calls these the top 3 priorities rule. For instance, you might pick learn 10 new English words, complete a grammar exercise, and practice speaking for 10 minutes. Focus on those and treat everything else as secondary. By narrowing it on just a few goals, your brain isn't pulled into many directions. Turn off known time wasters too. Identify your biggest distractions. Social media, news sites, etc., and set limits. For example, try keeping your phone out of reach or using an app blocker during study time. Even found that simply turn off social media notifications was the game changer. You got so much more interrupted study time back. When you reclaim that time, you'll find it much easier to concentrate on your English practice. Reflection and time tracking. To improve focus, track your habits. It's hard to fix something you haven't measured. Try keeping a simple time log for a few days. Note that what you do in each 30-minute block, starting, checking email, relaxing, etc. Erin discovered that although she thought she studied steadily, the log showed she actually spent much more time scrolling on her phone than she realized. It's exactly like budgeting money. If you don't know where your minutes go, you can manage them. After a week, review your log. Maybe you'll notice a pattern. For example, you were most distracted after lunch, or you did your best work in the early morning. Use that insight to adjust your routine. For example, if the log shows a mid-afternoon slump, schedule a brief work or relaxation exercise then, and move your heavier study to when you're naturally more alert. Engaging your English learning. All these strategies directly help your English practice. When reading an English article or textbook, do it in your dedicated focus zone with no phone in reach. Make it active. Highlight new words. Say a sentence out loud or write a quickly summary. These actions keep your mind engaged. When listening to a dialogue or podcast like this one, imagine you're actually in that conversation. Visualize why this focus matters. Picture yourself a month from now speaking more confidently, or suddenly understanding that movie without subtitles. This future self visualization keeps you motivated to stay on task. Try making learning social too. Schedule a quick chat or language exchange with a friend. The social reward gives you extra motivation. Or use a gamified app that gives you points or badges for study streaks. These little goals and social elements raise dopamine, which in turn sharpens your focus on learning. Reflection question. Pause for a moment and reflect. What is the one thing that most distracts you when studying English? Is it your phone buzzing, a noisy environment, or maybe wandering thoughts? Identifying your biggest focus thief is key. Once you know it, you can apply the right strategy from this episode to address it. Putting it all together. To summarize, here are practical takeaways for sharpening focus in your English learning. Dedicated study space. Choose a quiet, clutter-free spot with calm colors. Cool blues, greens improve concentration. Keep devices out of sight or silenced. Schedule with your natural rhythm. Work during your personal peak hours, morning or afternoon. Use focused blocks. For example, 25 minutes study, 5 minutes break as a rule. Single task. Do one study activity at a time. Give your full attention, then switch tasks only after completing it. Smart breaks and rest. During breaks, practice relaxation, deep breathing, or quick guided rest. Prioritize good sleep. A rested brain focuses far better. Positive mindset. Use affirmations like I am improving. Visualize success and celebrate small wins. Keeping a gratitude or progress note can reinforce this positivity. Track your time. Keep a brief study diary log. See where your minutes actually go. And then cut out or shorten the biggest leaks. Engage curiosity. Stay curious. When you actively wonder how a new word or grammar point, your brain naturally focuses on finding answers. Feel free to pause this video and jot down one action from above to try first. Maybe it's I will start it at 9 a.m. starting tomorrow, Or I will put my phone in another room. Small changes add up. In closing, remember, focus is like a muscle. The more consistently you train it with these strategies, the stronger it becomes. Every effort you make, even just a 10 minutes uninterrupted study session, or turning off one app notification, is progress. Now, take a deep breath, smile, and go tackle that English material with renewed focus. You've got this. Boom! You made it to the end of another power-packed episode of Build and Speak. I'm Steve, and I hoped you picked up something new, something useful, and something that makes you say, yeah, I got this. If you enjoyed this episode, hit that subscribe button, send it to your crew, and leave us a quick review. It helps more engineers like you find their voice in English. Until next time, keep building, keep speaking, and keep showing the world what you can do. Yeah, let's go. Bye-bye.